Welcome to the all-new Sports Visions. I'm DJ Jones alongside my good friend and traveling partner, Dale Williams. How are you, sir?
What's up, player?
Man, I tell you what, we're getting deeper and deeper into the summer, and obviously fall is just right around the corner. A lot of things are still up in the air. Coming up in just a little bit, we'll have an opportunity to talk about the red-hot Atlanta Braves. They're doing their thing, and
That's
also,
right.
Again, the SEC has decided that they're going to play 10 conference games.
I think that makes for a great season if we can get it through, DJ.
Absolutely, and the high school football teams locally, as far as the Georgia High School Association, have officially started practice. No more voluntary workouts. It's official now, and hopefully we're headed toward exciting high school football season in Georgia and Alabama. All that and more coming up next on Sports Visions.
Bus is coming in 10 minutes. Come eat breakfast.
Hey, watch the homework.
Do you know if it's supposed to rain?
Where's my gray hat?
Where did you leave it?
It's your body.
What time does practice end today?
I like that headband. It really makes a statement.
Are you gonna wear this to work? Let's go. Bus is here.
Liberty Utilities natural gas. So reliable, you'll forget we're there.
Imagine a life-changing injury. Imagine the fear and unknown. The Houston Clinic Sports Medicine Team, the only physicians in the area with advanced certification in orthopedic sports medicine, treats sports injuries with innovative techniques. The Houston Clinic has helped nearly 1 million athletes live without pain. Imagine getting back in the game. Imagine the best game of your life. The Houston Clinic Sports Medicine Team.
It started with a few smaller bills. $50 here,
$80.
$100.
I had good health insurance.
Why isn't this covered?
Well, then they started getting bigger. $800.
$1,800.
I saved for this.
But not that much.
I'm glad I had Aflac.
They gave me money when I needed it most.
That's why Aflac is here, to help with the expenses health insurance doesn't cover.
I love that Aflac duck.
Aflac! Get to know us at aflac.com.
Welcome back to Sports Visions. Dale, high school football season is upon us, and we're excited that we're going to actually have the opportunity through our radio platform. We're going to do some high school football games of the week this fall, and with all things going well, we look forward to doing anywhere from 8 to 10 high school football games of the week.
Really, DJ, like you said, if everything goes well, we plan on having the Sports Visions games of the week, and we got some of the best games in the Chattahoochee Valley area. I think we're going to have a great season, and hopefully we'll have some safe football. But one of the biggest things, DJ, that I'm looking forward to is having some good competitive games.
Absolutely, and again, this gives us an opportunity to get up front and personal with regards to watching the talent and going out to practices. And because I know, of course, everybody loves our end of the year deal where we honor our high school football players and coaches. However, this is an opportunity for us to go on site, not as if we hadn't been in the past, because we've had promotional opportunities over the past several years to do that, but to be an integral part of a high school football broadcast and to also give these kids an opportunity to be exposed on our PMB station, WRCG. That's huge.
It's going to be big, DJ. And like you said, over the years we've been we've been doing college football games. High school football games. But at the same time, to be calling a game, we can be a whole lot more engaged in those high school students and also in the community. That's one of our mission statements. That's what we want to do. But like I said, DJ, I'm looking forward to some very competitive games, because the tentative 11 or 12, the 8 or 9 games that we do have, we got some great games, man.
The month of August is here. That means that the schools, as far as high schools in Georgia, are officially now eligible to start practicing now, though. No more voluntary workouts. I know that Alabama was a week ahead of Georgia as far as workouts and off-season conditioning. But now all bets are off. It's all official. Now they're able to practice. And no scrimmaging of sort just yet for Georgia. However, looking forward to these players getting in pads and going out and putting in work.
I think what Georgia's plan is doing, DJ, doing the last week of this month, that we'll have some practice games. It will be most of the schools have a start-up game or a exhibition game before the real season start. But I think really the real season starts Labor Day weekend, September the 4th, and I think that last week of this month, they'll be doing a whole lot of practice games.
The challenging part of it all, both in Georgia and in Alabama, when you talk about how they're going to go to, are they going to go virtually? Are they going to be in class? The bottom line is either way, it's going to be interesting to see what the final analysis is. I know both systems have been somewhat not struggling, but been taking their time deciding how quite they were going to handle it. But that has a lot to do with, obviously, when football players have to be on campus and obviously practice. You would want them to be in school. However, right now we're seeing a lot of parents are not necessarily comfortable with sending their kids to school.
Well, we knew that parental piece was going to come into play in a minute, DJ, and I think really for us doing it school virtually, I think that is the safest way. But at the same time, the kids want to get back to, their camaraderie with their classmates. They want to be on campus. They want to, engage with their classmates. And I think that is one concern. But I think really the safest way is the virtual way. Then, you're through with your classes online. You get to go to practice. And these guys really want to see one another. They hadn't had a lot of opportunity to see one another during the summer.
One thing about high school football, unlike college and pro sports, the testing and the protocols are in place. We don't know necessarily how Georgia or Alabama with regards to the testing and what's mandatory. I know that they get the temperatures, and again, they ask a series of questions.
Right.
But actual testing and obviously releasing that information to the public is not something that I think that we're going to be having right now, even though we do know that Georgia released several weeks ago that over 600 players had tested positive with the virus, of course, in Georgia, and I know that was somewhat of a scare. But when you think about, the tens of thousands of players, athletes that participate in sports, that number was not necessarily a striking number, but at the same time, it did get a lot of attention.
It gets a lot of attention, DJ, but really when you look at 459 schools just on Georgia High School Association, that number is really not that bad, but, one is bad, but I think at the same time, really I think everybody stayed on top of this. The Georgia High School Association is doing everything possible to make this a safe football season, first of all, and don't want to put the kids in any kind of harm or danger. But I think one of the biggest things about it is that they have a protocol and they're going to stay on top of this thing. The parents are very involved in this thing. The sanitization of the locker rooms and on the field, those things are key. And it's real simple. Continue to do, wash your hands, social distancing, and really just do the things that you're supposed to do. And I think we're going to have a safe high school football season.
Georgia High School Football Association's executive director, Robin Hines, has lifted, obviously, some of the mandates that were initially in place with regards to using the locker rooms as, of course, dressing rooms and, not a gathering place. You got to go in and do your thing. But, of course, increasing the numbers from 10 to 20, 20 to 25 to 50 to now it's unlimited. So that helps. But at the same time, again, without the mandatory testing for these high school athletes, that scares me somewhat.
Well, I think really if you've got, just for as the athletes are concerned, just the students in itself, really the only thing that they can do is take the temperature, make sure that, somebody is, have the symptoms, get them out of school, get the parents there, and really it's just basically the basic things that it's always been the way, when even from elementary school on, they tell you if your kid is sick, don't let them come to school. And I think really that's going to be an indicator. But when they get to school and they have that high temperature, they're going to take the precautions to get that kid out of school so he doesn't contaminate anybody else.
Well, if all goes well, in about 3 or 4 weeks, we'll be underway with the high school football season, and we are looking forward to it. We'll be right back after these messages.
Should planning your travel be more stressful than staying at home? Of course not. Here at Lumpkin Travel, our VIP service makes traveling easy and fun.
Girls Trip!
We've helped serve thousands of people and families experience their dream vacation by taking the hassle out of travel.
Thank you.
We book your flight, reserve your hotel, and make sure you have a stress-free vacation so you can enjoy every moment of it.
Thank you.
We even help you choose different activities that you're guaranteed to enjoy.
Broadcast!
And the best part is, we find you the best price at no extra charge for you. Actually, 95% of customers save money and time by booking with Lumpkin Travel. So start thinking about your dream vacation. Wherever you want to go, whatever you want to do, we'll make it happen for you. As easy as 1, 2, 3. Call today or log on and set up your vacation of a lifetime with Lumpkin Travel, your travel agent for life.
E&S Men's Clothing Warehouse has been your most trusted name in men's fashion for more than 50 years. We've offered the area's best selection of top quality, name brand suits, accessories, and casual wear at the most competitive prices around. Customer service is our top priority. We're the professionals generations have trusted for the best quality and absolutely the best deals. We are E&S Men's Clothing Warehouse. We are simply the best.
Come into Chester's Barbecue for our world-famous mouth-watering ribs, smoked fresh on our grill daily. Or try one of our barbecue pork plates with fresh sides. Chester's has delicious sandwich combos to choose from that are sure to please. We also serve tempting home-cooked favorites. And don't forget to take home your own bottle of great sauce. Chester's Barbecue, serving the best food at the best price, with 3 locations to serve you.
Hey, my name is George, and I love the Chick-fil-A grilled nuggets. It's like me grilling at home. It tastes very similar to that, except the seasoning. I probably can't season it as well as Chick-fil-A does. The chicken's super tender, and honestly, the best nuggets I've ever tasted.
My name is Meredith, and a little thing I love about Chick-fil-A's mac and cheese is the oven-toasted, cheesy top layer. If home had a flavor, it would be Chick-fil-A's mac and cheese. I'm passionate about it.
Gear up for fall at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
And welcome back to Sports Visions, Dale. It's now time for us to do our SEC report, brought to you by our good friends at Academy Sports and Outdoors. But before we start into the report, I want to take this opportunity to say how excited I am about our football edition of our Sports Visions magazine. Dale will be out in several weeks. Labor Day is our deadline, and of course, or not deadline, but the date that we're going to have the magazine set to go out on the streets.
That's right.
And again, with the adjustments of the schedules, both high school, college, as well as some of the professional schedules, man, I think that we should be up to date.
We should be up to date pretty good, DJ, because one of the biggest things that we can do, not at the time of us taping this show, is not give you the dates, but we actually know the home and away games. And I think really by the time we make that adjustment, DJ, everything will be up and up to standards like it always is in the magazine by the time it comes on the street Labor Day weekend.
And mind you, this is our most popular magazine, the hottest magazine out of all 4 quarters. The football edition is special because it does have, in addition to the schedule, some unique articles about sports and around sports. And you know what? It's always, I don't know why, but again, yes, I do know why. We're in football country, and everybody looks forward to the football information and trying to get a jump on the scheduling. And of course, you got this one magazine in place with all the schedules in it. So you can just open it up and you can find your Braves schedule, you can find your Falcons schedule, you can find your Alabama, Auburn, Georgia schedule, and your historically black college schedules.
I mean, really, I think really we'll be able to have, first of all, the football edition has great content. You know, like I said, it's loaded with schedules. We'll have the Falcons schedule in there also, but basically the college football trifecta that we do every year, the Georgia, the Auburn, the Alabama, we will have that in there continuously. At the time, again, of taping this show, we basically will be getting updates as we speak, probably today, definitely by tomorrow, but at the same time, it will be up to date. We got great content. We got a lot of stuff about these programs around the country, HBCUs, the NFL Hall of Fame, and we'll still celebrate the 2020 NFL Hall of Fame inductees too, even though it was canceled.
And as far as the SEC is concerned, obviously it's no secret the SEC has made a decision after many conferences that have came out in the last couple of weeks to talk about whether they were going to postpone or push the season back to the spring. They were going to play, get rid of the non-conference games, but the SEC has decided that they're going to play 10 games, Dale. They're going to play 10 conference games 6 East Division or East and West Division games and 4 of whatever conference you're at. If you're in the East, you're going to play 6 East games and 4 Western Division conference games. But the bottom line is that with this powerful, with this dynamic conference, beating up on each other, 10 games against all conference foes, man, it's going to be something that we hadn't seen before.
It's going to be special, DJ. And like I said, you have to be careful what you ask for, because we've been asking for playing just all conference games, get rid of the cupcake games. Now we got what we really wanted. I mean, I think really the SEC plays 8 conference games already, but to add 2 more conference games to it, DJ, is going to make it very competitive. You know, if the strength of schedule piece, I don't think we'll have a problem with any team that comes out of the SEC when we start bowling and when we start doing the college football playoff poll. We'll have an opportunity to see, again, many more SEC teams. But I think, DJ, man, that's going to be a rough SEC schedule, but at the same time, we're probably going to see the best college football we've seen in a long time.
And you guys asked for it. You were wondering when they would get rid of the cupcake games. You know what? COVID-19 is a reason why they've eliminated these non-conference games. They're going to be all SEC games. And now I know, you know, we talk about it, we brag about how powerful and how exciting and how dynamic this conference is, but obviously it's going to be so powerful and so dynamic to a fault almost, if you will, because at the end of the season, a lot of the teams that would normally be in consideration for the playoffs will have 2, 3, even 4 losses, which is out of the question with how they're going to, as far as making the playoffs, the college football playoffs. Right. It's going to be detrimental.
It is, DJ. It's going to be detrimental. I mean, I think really, but it's a great. I can see someone winning the SEC with 2 losses now, DJ. And I think really, you know, they're gonna. I mean, when you add 2 more conference games to an already tough schedule, it's going to be some more difficult games, and anything can happen, even in the midst of the COVID-19 crisis. You know, we don't know how many kids going to be able to be playing all year round, but it's going to be very competitive in the SEC like it always is.
Let's talk about some of the residuals, good or bad, as it comes to the situation where we have to make these adjustments. I know when I feel my heart bleeds for the smaller schools that are the non-conference schools that are taken off of the schedule deal, because we know that those paydays for the most part was a large part of their athletic budgets, and, you know, having to drop these schools and play only the SEC schools now, those smaller schools now, their programs, not just the football program, their whole athletic programs are in jeopardy.
They're very much so, DJ. But I think really at the same time, you know, them going ahead, most of the smaller conference going ahead and canceling their season and trying to start up in the spring, I think it also gives them and open the door for a little bit more opportunity for them to maybe to even get some sponsorship, to get some other people to make up that money that they would have made if they would have played one of the big time teams. But I think one of the biggest things also, DJ, is going to be, you know, just being able to play again and be safe again, because really we have to look at it from the HBCU standpoint and the Division II standpoint, DJ, that these teams, if they don't make money, it's an expense to them. And I think really they don't have the money to pay for the expense. That's why they're playing the Auburns, the Alabamas, the Georgia, be able to get $450,000 right to their program. And I think really when you start trying to raise $450,000 to an entire school, that becomes a task in itself.
The other side of this spectrum when it comes to this adjustment with the schedule is that, you know, some of the conference, or at least some of the rivalries, the traditional rivalry in the terms of Georgia Tech, obviously that comes off the board. When you talk about Georgia opening up in the Chick-fil-A Kickoff Classic at Mercedes-Benz against Virginia, that comes off the board. Right. You know, as well as a plethora of other games where some of the conference teams that have, you know, out-of-conference matchups that are rivalries, that are big games. And I know with Alabama was going to initially open up with USC. That game comes off the board.
That's right. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of TV revenue. But at the same time, when you start talking about the SEC, they are experts, and they get paid to make sure that they put these games in the right angles. And I think even with the SEC network and the TV packages with CBS, they have just became just that much more valuable, because it's going to be some big-time games, DJ, that weren't scheduled to be on television that's going to be on TV.
It's going to be interesting. I know that, again, another adjustment is moving the season back. We know that, you know, we talked about University of Georgia particularly opening up with, again, the Chick-fil-A Kickoff Classic. Right. And then, of course, the second game, another non-conference game. Now the first game on the schedule, as far as I haven't seen the official release, but Alabama. You got to have to go to Tuscaloosa, and that's the second or third week in September. Again, those extra weeks, those 2 weeks that they're having, I'm wondering how they're going to indoctrinate the physicality of practices. Are they going to use that time to pour on more pads and physicality, or are they going to use that time to do more teaching and conditioning?
I mean, I think for the teaching and the conditioning and the development of the players, as long as they can stay healthy, DJ, I think really they're going to be developed. I think they're going to be ready conditioning-wise. But I really think, man, really, and the season being pushed back, to the 26th of the start of the year of the SEC season. September 26th. And I think really instead of September 4th, September 26th, that gives a lot of time to develop. Even if some injuries occur, even if somebody tests positive for the COVID-19 piece, it gives them some grace area, DJ, to deal with. So I think it's going to be all right, man.
And again, we stay away from the gloom and doom, but the reality of it all is that these are still just statements that are being made. It's not reality. We don't know from day to day, from week to week, from month to month. Things change, and as of right now, it looks like we're going to have a successful 10-game schedule in the SEC.
I mean, that's what is it on paper. We'll have a 10-game schedule, DJ, but really, we haven't even thrown the fly in the ointment. We're talking about the students on campus. What we're going to do with the students. So that's another story for another day, DJ.
And again, I tell you what, one story is that the students on campus and our players indoctrinating, going to classes, and of course those students being able to go and do what they want to do, go to the bars, and still our football players are part of that. That's going to bring up a lot of questions.
It's a lot of questions, man. We're just praying that we can get through this season.
All right, we're going to take a short break. This is Sports Visions. Welcome back to Sports Visions, Dale. It's now time for our Atlanta Falcons report, as well as our NFL report. We have an opportunity now to obviously take the opportunity to see that training camp in the NFL is certainly different now. That the first several days of reporting was mostly testing, Dale. As far as COVID-19, it was not a whole lot of going ahead and getting into the two-a-day aspect of the training camp. But again, the testing. And, of course, making sure that everybody was cleared before they even start conditioning.
I mean, really, that's been the biggest thing, DJ. They wanted to make sure everybody was tested. Nobody came up being positive with the COVID-19 virus. They wanted to make sure that, first of all, DJ, and I think really they've done a great job with doing that. And then I guess the other big thing that comes about is that what we found out, even in the midst of all the testing, who would opt out. And I think really that has been one big thing that I don't think the NFL owners are even really made any adjustments on, because really when you got 43 players in the NFL, top players, DJ, you got, the New England Patriots, oh God, I mean, 8 players, 3 starters. I mean, when you got well-known and notable name guys that are opting out, that is some concern, player.
It is a concern, but the good thing with the Atlanta Falcons, should everything ends up okay as far as the COVID-19 side of it, it should be an exciting season there. A lot of great players to root for, in particular the former University of Georgia All-American Todd Gurley coming over from the Rams after an outstanding career. Coming off of an injury, however, but you insert a guy that even 80% of what Todd Gurley was a couple of years ago, and I think you're going to have a dynamic feature to this offense that is spread out, with some of the top world-class athletes from the Julio Joneses, across the board.
I mean, really, I think everybody has great expectation for the Atlanta Falcons. They didn't have a very good season last year, even in the midst of the pandemic. Everybody is looking forward to seeing that that offense. I mean, everybody knows around the NFL that the Atlanta Falcons has a potent offense. Everybody want to see that into play. And if we can get through this season, you know, I think really they can do a great job because really they are potent on offense. But I think really the defensive side of the ball, if they can play that Dan Quinn type defense that get after your defense, they're going to have a very, very successful season. But at the same time, DJ, that NFC South is loaded.
Make no doubts about it. Dan Quinn, obviously, we talk about a hot seat. I mean, this year is the year. They're expecting, when I say they, I'm from Arthur Blank to the fans, they're expecting him to, of course, and the Falcons to compete for the playoffs and get into the playoffs. And
That's right.
Because, again, with the talent that they have, again, minus injuries or minus anything that should come with COVID-19, the Falcons should be in the playoffs, even though this conference or their division is loaded.
Really, they should be. There's no excuses, DJ, and I think really they have a lot to prove from last year. But then, like I said, the most noticeable thing is about the Atlanta Falcons is this, that they got 11 starters that are all #1 picks. That's huge, DJ, and I mean, really, just from a development standpoint, they ought to be been able to develop now into all pro players.
Well, those first round picks, that sounds good on paper, and again, I hope it pans out on the field, but you know as well as I do, you know, some of the most successful players in the National Football League have been undrafted free agents, and you know, first rounders are great, and they have the 4 or 5 star caliber, if you know what I'm saying, relating to the college type players. These are the best of the best. Now, hopefully, these veteran players, they're proven, and they can have a chemistry. Because again, all of the individual talent is fine, but you know, at football and a team sport, it's so important to have that team chemistry so that they can obviously motivate one another to go out and play for the Falcons and play for those fans in Atlanta.
I mean, really, like you said, the key word there, DJ, is chemistry, and you know, really having a good offense, and then to even complement it with a good defense. And really, the Atlanta Falcons football is based on defense. When they can play good defense, and they had a lot of injuries last year, if they can get all their defensive starters back and all the new people that they did come about, you know, the free agency piece with Dante Fowler, I think that's going to be big. I think he's going to add to it. You know, Dante Jones has always been a good guy. You know, really, he's always been a player since he's been in the league. So really, it's going to be very, very, it's going to be questionable, DJ. But on defense, if they can come back defensively with all the injuries they had last year and all the new people that they got, develop into the superstar players that they are, they're going to have a good team, man.
Uncle COVID-19 spares no one. The most recently, the Philadelphia Eagles head coach Doug Peterson has contracted the virus. Again, we know that down in New Orleans a little earlier in the season, Sean Payton had the virus. But there's a number of players, as you mentioned earlier, that have opted out, to the sense of course, several key players for New England and throughout the league. But most notably, the quarterback for the Detroit Lions, Matthew Stafford. Of course, he puts up numbers, and he's a very, very, very talented quarterback. His wife had brain surgery last year, which obviously gives him an opportunity to weigh the options, and the options are, he don't want to put his wife's health in favor or in the way with this situation, him being exposed to all of these athletes and this virus. So he's opting out, and Gardner Minshew, the quarterback with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, again, you think about a young man like that who has an opportunity to make a name for himself. He hasn't been established, but he's opting out. That goes to show you how much conviction he has. He's not worried. He's not being selfish. He's worried about the health and the welfare of his family, regardless of, how much time he's had or how much of a showcase this could be for him. You know what? He's taking health over wealth.
I mean, really, DJ, and hats off to the NFL Players Association for just, they wanted to know, they basically needed to know that if we opt out, we still won't be able to get paid something. And I think really that $150,000 just opt out fee that they will get, most of these guys are being paid handsomely anyway. So just getting $150,000 just to opt out, at least that gave them a little concession, DJ, that they could just opt out and say, okay, we can take the money out of this. It ain't about the money. It's really about the health right now. And I just rather, I'm going to make $500,000 this year, but I take that $150,000 right now and side on the side of caution and just be safe.
And being safe indeed is what they need to do. Now, when you talk about being safe, no preseason games, when have we ever had a situation where there were no preseason games? However, I think what you're seeing is what's very effective is what the Falcons are going to do. They're going to bring in a couple of teams and going to do some inter-squad practicing. And again, when you talk about from the Miami Dolphins to the Buffalo Bills coming in to work with the Falcons, I think that work in particular more so than a big preseason game, you can get more done with the individual drills, with the individual workouts, with the individual teams preparing on the same field over the course of a practice as you would one preseason game.
I think really the Falcons, that's a model that everybody's going to do around the NFL, because really it even breaks down, DJ, better than a preseason game when you inviting different teams into your camp and you sharing information, you're sharing the opportunity to play against these guys and develop these guys. You got situational scrimmages that'll be going on, and you really can start from the word go on basically getting these guys better. And yeah, it's not going to be any preseason games, but I guarantee you this, the practices are going to be a lot better, and they're going to be very, very competitive.
One other adjustment that the NFL players and the association has made with regards to training camp, they lowered the number from a 90-player roster to an 80-player roster. So already right off the bat, Dale, that's 10 players times 32 teams. That's 320 opportunities that these young men won't get.
I mean, really, it's going to be a very competitive camp, DJ, and at the same time, you know, the rookie players, it's going to be a whole lot harder for a rookie to make the team, but I think really if you got a coach that's big on development and big on need, these guys are going to get a great opportunity.
All right, we'll take a short break. This is Sports Visions.
Bus is coming in 10 minutes. Come eat breakfast.
Hey, watch the homework.
Do you know it's supposed to rain?
Where's my gray hat?
Where did you leave it?
It's your body.
What time does practice end today?
I like that headband. It really makes a statement.
Are you gonna wear this to work? Let's go. Bus is here.
Liberty Utilities natural gas. So reliable, you'll forget we're there.
Imagine a life-changing injury. Imagine the fear and unknown. The Houston Clinic Sports Medicine Team, the only physicians in the area with advanced certification in orthopedic sports medicine, treats sports injuries with innovative techniques. The Houston Clinic has helped nearly 1 million athletes live without pain. Imagine getting back in the game. Imagine the best game of your life. The Houston Clinic Sports Medicine Team.
It started with a few smaller bills. $50 here.
$80.
$100.
I had good health insurance.
Why isn't this covered?
Well, then they started getting bigger. $800.
$1,800.
I saved for this.
But not that much.
I'm glad I had Aflac.
They gave me money when I needed it most.
That's why Aflac is here, to help with the expenses health insurance doesn't cover.
I love that Aflac duck.
Aflac! Get to know us at aflac.com.
Welcome back to Sports Vision. It's now time, Dale, for our Atlanta Braves report. I tell you, man, it's been quite some time that we haven't had the opportunity to do the Braves report, but baseball has finally started back up again, Dale, and we are, a week and a half or so into the season. The Braves are hot. They're on a 5-game winning streak. They are really doing well after stumbling out of the blocks.
I mean, really, they stumbled a little bit, DJ, but they are leading the East right now, and we've been talking about this, yes, it's the early part of the season, but you got to get out the blocks early, and the Braves have done that, DJ. They've been hitting the ball very well, but the only bad thing I see about the Braves, DJ, and we talked about this last week, the strikeouts. I mean, they're almost averaging 9 or 10 strikeouts a game. And they're hitting the ball, and I think really the designated hitter piece works great for the Atlanta Braves, but I think really they still got a long road to go, DJ, but I think really with that designated hitter piece, everybody's going to get hot here in a minute, man, and they can take off and do some great things.
Well, I tell you what, I'm excited about our pitching staff, even though Fulton Evans has been really much set down. You know, the fact that Mike Soroka as well as Freed, he's doing a great job. And again, we just got to get somebody else, Tukey, we got to get somebody to step up in a big way and to help solidify this sprint, because 60 games is a lot less than 162. The Braves are on a streak now, 5 games, and look like they're finding their way, even against all the strikeouts. But they're still finding a way to win. So we know those bats are coming. It's just a matter of time when.
It's just a matter of time, DJ. And like you said, with their pitching staff, Mike Soroka, last year's Rookie of the Year, he's doing a great job. You know, he leads the Braves. Even in the midst of just 2 games, I mean, he has a low earned run average. I think really for us the max free piece is another big thing that's going on with the Braves. He does a good job. That gives them a strong right-hander and left-hander. I think Touki Toussaint's going to come in and take the place of the Fontenevich piece. And I think he's going to come in and do a great job. And they've found this free agent, Kyle Wright, who comes in and does a great job. And first of all, DJ, the Braves, Brian Snitker, he has his pitchers pitch 5 innings. That's basically 5 innings, and we're going to take you out. We're going to get you into the bullpen. They've been doing great things, but I think really, DJ, offensively, the Braves, even in the midst of the strikeouts that they have, I think really they've gotten hot. Dansby Swanson is doing a great job. The new required Marcell Ozuna, he does a great job, DJ. He can come in and he can be the DH, the Austin Riley piece. He's hitting the ball. Adam Duvall, he's hitting the ball. These guys are hitting the ball, DJ, and really, Ronald Acuna hadn't even crunk up yet. Ozzy Osbourne, these guys haven't got hot yet, DJ, but I think really there's a timing situation. But soon as they get their timing right, it's going to be big for the Atlanta Braves.
You made mention of Ozzy Albies. He's missed a couple of games with a wrist injury. Hopefully it's not as serious that as reported. But, trying to get him back in the lineup and get everybody back on pace again, it's critical that, everybody gets back on the same page and remains healthy, because this is such a short season.
That's right. There's no time to play around, and I think Brian Snitker showed everybody and sent a message to the Braves dugout, even with the Mike Fontenevich piece. Don't have the time to waste. If you're not ready to play and you're not contributing to the team, you got to go right now, because we only got 60 games to deal with, DJ, and the Braves got a premium on this year.
I want to make mention of watching the games on television, and I know that a lot was said about fans in the stand and whatnot. But you know what? To me, I think that the game is itself really just dominates my attention. That's because right. Again, the cutouts that they have in the stands, I really hadn't been focused on that. I think that the production has been so well done that they're really isolating on a lot of the players, a lot of the dugout shots, and the actual play on the field, which eliminates somewhat of the crowd. And I mentioned too before that the crowd, for me as a viewer on television, isn't nearly as important as I'm sure the players. Having the sense of understanding or feeling that the crowd, the home crowd in particular.
I'm not watching the baseball game as a fan, DJ. I'm watching the baseball game as a player, and I think really it doesn't bother me either for as a fan and not having fans there. I think really just for as watching the players in itself, seeing every pitch, seeing what's going on, seeing what basically the whole makeup of this player coming to the plate. Because really, I don't think they actually. When they play and they come in the bat, DJ, they're not thinking about the fans that much. They're just focused on what they need to do at the plate. And I think the pitchers are focused on where they need to throw the ball. But I think really it hadn't been bad with me. And really, I'm a Braves fan. I'm a baseball fan. So really, it hadn't been bad. And I think really, for as the viewers are concerned, I think really a lot of people are watching the Braves even more now because they can't go to the game.
With anxiety and intentions of actually hoping and praying that COVID-19 does not interrupt this season. I know that Commissioner Manfred has gone on the record to say that if they don't get a grip on this testing and on this positive testing, that they're going to have to shut it down. The Cardinals most recently have found more people to be positive in their organization. We know that the Marlins, that those figures are through the roof, some 15, 16, 17 positive tests. And, again, we just hopefully this thing we can corral this or at least somewhat contain it so that we can keep moving forward with this baseball season.
As of us shooting this show, word out of Miami is this, that no player has tested positive from Miami. From that, we went from almost 20 on staff and players that had tested positive. Now,
just last week.
This Monday as we shoot the show. Last week it was 20, but this week they have no positive cases right now. So I think really they're doing what they have to do down there to stay safe. And I think really, when it comes to baseball, and everybody's going to cover this thing a whole lot differently, but I think when you start talking about baseball, they have everything is fixed in their games where they'll do a postpone. They'll postpone a whole series because they'll do a double hitter. Whatever it takes, I think really the Major League Baseball is going to do what they have to do to try to get this season in.
I was just about to make mention of that, is that, again, we saw the Marlins miss a whole complete week of games, and again, the Cardinals and the Brewers and several other teams that missed games. When it gets down to it, 60 games is already, a small number. When we get down to it, if teams have only played 40 games, some teams have only played 50 games, how are we going to make this thing work?
I think really when it comes down to the games that they missed, if they're in playoff contention or close to winning their division or something like that, they'll do those makeup games. But if they're not even in contention of even winning their division or something like that, I don't think they're going to play those games, DJ.
All right, we'll take a short break. This is Sports Vision.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like. I wish I could fix my lips to express how amazing that love truly is. And even though those words may flow beautifully through a melodic tune, there have been far too many unopened conversations to the address of the elephant that is getting comfortable in our living room when it comes to the topic of being black. A simple color that you see in a box of Crayola crayons, the asphalt where we plant our feet, from the cup of coffee that we wish to drink, or a simple arrow planted on a traffic sign that can lead us to our next destination. Yet every day I find it hard people appreciate this color on materialistic objects rather than the color attached to the pigmentation of human faces. Answer me this. When it comes to the American dream, is it based upon breaking metaphorical chains, securing a financial augmentation, a damsel in distress rescued by a hero answering her cry for hope? No. Because this country has given us more nightmares than dreams, especially wondering if our children will ever return home. As a black boy in this country, statistics have shown that our most anticipated moment is receiving a diploma at our high school graduation. But hearing our names across that stage doesn't compare to the words, "Son, it's time you and I have a conversation." To explain the nature of you asking, why did the kids look at me weird on the playground in the 3rd grade? Or why did Jeff and Amy say that they could no longer play with me? In a society built for your anxiety. A crippling nation we live in, and the frustration of being the ones playing the music's sad violins. Now, you're young. I know, and I once found myself in your shoes, 16 and free, where my soul had a right to choose what I wanted to achieve. "What do you want to be when you grow up?" Miss Parker asked. And as she was finishing up to the back of the class, I found myself throwing my right hand up to where it was evident. "The president. I want to be the president." As the class turned slow to me, I realized that no one wanted to address the elephant. That black boys can never be respected in that way. And while it sits back in '83, even today your generation isn't much more free than when I was your age. So son, before I let you have these keys, I must say something. Be cautious. Because even though you are a king, this world will look down on you as if they were better, making you feel like nothing. It'll make you want to scream, accusing you of stealing in the dressing room, asking the passive-aggressive, "May I help you look for anything? May I help you look for something?" And the stare you'll get from the cashier in the gas station when you're just looking for your favorite drink. Son, when you're on that road, think twice about speeding, not using your blinker, or making too long of eye contact with the stranger next to you at the red light. Because while it is your right to be on the road just as much as anyone else, the kids who are white don't have to fear for their lives by men who sit as killers in the skies. If you're pulled over, don't ever look at them directly in the eyes. Keep both hands on the wheel. And though you may feel disrespected, always stay respectful with a yes, sir. Because it's better for you to live and see tomorrow than to be another hashtag that'll occur. So as you lay your head on your pillow, remember this. Though this may be land of the free, the voices that came before you had a price to pay. And though black boy joy may cease, the fear of a black man shall never fade away. So in this country of peaceful protests, fallen angels, and all of the filmed violence, son, may you always hold your peace, but never hold your silence.
And welcome back to today's final segment of Sports Vision Deal. It's a great show, an action-packed week of sports. Man, I tell you, it feels good to talk about sports, baseball, basketball in particular. We hadn't had an opportunity to talk basketball, but again, we have plenty of time for that. But just great to know that we have some semblance of normalcy with regards to sports being played.
Things are a play away from getting back to normal, in all sports. Like you said, with the NBA piece, everything is going fine with that, but I think really baseball, football, college football, high school football, everything is trying to get everything to get back in place. And I think really when we're doing that, putting dates back, doing what you're supposed to do from a citizen standpoint of washing your hands, sanitizing, and social distancing, I think if we continue to do all these things in the time that we have here, which is a grace period, I think we're going to have a lot of good sports.
I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you for watching out there, you folks out there in CTV Beam land. We really appreciate you spreading the word, telling a friend to tell a friend that the Sports Visions TV show is on the air. And again, we appreciate all the positive vibes, all the positive tweets, all the positive emails and messages. We appreciate you just as much as you appreciate us, believe me on that. Also, our listeners out there on our Sports Visions Sport Talk radio show on WRCG 92.1 every Monday and Thursday from 4 to 6 o'clock live. Or, of course, you could go and get our free Sports Visions radio app. And, of course, you go to your app store, punch in Sports Visions radio, the app will pop up. You can go into the app's menu and, again, go to the podcast. And there's a plethora of shows from months gone by that we have done in the last few years. And again, Dale, I'm so proud that we have an opportunity to give our viewers and our listeners an opportunity to not only see us and catch us when we're regularly scheduled times, but to go back into the archives, even with the YouTube piece with the television show.
Really it's been great for us, and for the best in local, regional, and national sports, tune into the Sports Vision TV show every Thursday here on CTV Beam on Channel 7 and on Channel 207 for the best in sports at 8 o'clock on Thursdays, 11 o'clock on Friday morning, and on Saturday at 8 o'clock a.m. For the best in sports, for the best in local, regional, and national sports, tune into the Sports Vision TV show.
Well, that's going to do it for all the sports we have for today. For Dale Williams, I'm DJ Jones, reminding you to keep your eye on the ball. Have a great week.